Religion can be for religiously motivated people. For Muslims, the Quran is of course an authority, as the New Testament for Christians. No doubt about that. But it cannot be the universal norm. So we have to see where we have an agreement in humanity about certain things. And as a matter of fact, it's a whole series of foundation. You can found global ethic, I think, also from the development, the evolution of the human race, because the human being had to learn to be human. We come from the animal world, and we were not accustomed. Animals are able to kill each other, and human beings had to learn that we are not allowed to kill other human beings as we are allowed to kill animals. That was probably the first conscious command to avoid to kill innocent people. And we had first rules for preserving the life of a person, reverence for life as a general norm, not to murder. Second, we had to preserve property. That was also very early when property was established. Even in Australia, you are not allowed to take the weapon of the other one, to steal. Not to steal, it's the preservation of property. The third is truth, to preserve the truth, sincerity, confidence is very basic for human beings and the relations between human beings. So we have not to give wrong testimonies, not to lie. And fourth, of course, sexual relations have to be protected from the beginning, and also Aborigines have very complex rules how to protect sexual relations. So we have these four things: not to kill, not to murder, not to lie, and not to abuse sexuality. So these are not just accidental topics. And here we have now, according to a process of several thousand years, 10,000 of years, we have developed now these certain rules. And in the religions, these basic rules are of course accepted and put under the absolute norm. The Torah of the Jews, I mean the so-called Ten Commandments, were not invented. They were already valuable before, but they were put under the supreme authority of the one true God. And it is of course a difference for religious people. If you say, I am God, your Lord, you shall not kill. You shall not kill, that's another kind of authority. But you cannot establish now in a secular society that everything has to be done in the name of God. That was the famous discussion we had in the European Union, whether the name of God has to be placed in the European Constitution. That was, I think, not possible. But what would have been possible is to mention clearly Judaism and Christianity as root of the human rights and roots of the whole of morality. It's not just the Enlightenment, as certain people thought from the Lysis camp. So we have a consensus among religions about these four basic demands, and we have a consensus also with non-believers, with secular people who do not want to be murdered and all these things. And so we have a practical consensus. How you found it yourself, that's up to you. We cannot prescribe the ground, what you are asking for. The ground may be different for you and for me, for others, but the content has to be the same. If we are in the same boat, it's not very important how we found our commandment of survival, but we have to survive following certain ethical standards which are basic.
So it is consensus, a consensus gentium, fundamentally.
In a way, it's a consensus gentium, but I think we seen in the evolutionary development, not just as a status like this, and also consensus gentium between the religions, because we have, of course, very strong, the Ten Commandments are repeated in the New Testament. I think that's a great heritage we have from the Jewish tradition, and it is also in the Quran. So there is no doubt about these things, that in higher developments of the higher culture of so-called higher religions, we have then expressively formulated these terms as commandments of God.